Jack never saw it coming. He thought he could win over the goddess with his charm, only to be punished with 10 times the normal gravity. After his rebirth, Jack saw a tea stalk floating in his cup, and had a feeling something good would happen that day. If he could, he wanted to be taller in his next life, but only half of his wish was granted. Jack's next reincarnation would be the second hand of a clock tower. The goddess asked what abilities he wanted, so he asked her to give him a special trait. Whenever he pointed to 12, Ragnarok would be unleashed. Much to Jack's surprise, since he was becoming a second hand, his transformation was extremely bizarre. In an instant, Jack was reincarnated, so much so that whenever the goddess checked the time, she couldn't help but think of him. But sure enough, Jack was back in the room the very next moment. The goddess didn't waste any words, and immediately put him through a soul search. This time, Jack became the second hand, on the kingdom's largest clock tower. Every day, countless couples fell in love beneath him. Annoyed by this as a single guy, Jack teamed up with the hour hand and minute hand, who were also reincarnated, and messed up the time on purpose to cause chaos. The hour hand was made from the world tree, the minute hand from shining gemstones, and Jack's body was made of dark matter. He wanted to show off his daily life, yet just as the goddess expected, his days were all the same, so he tried everything to make each day exciting. Every time the second hand hit 12, random magic would activate. Some people grew flowers on their heads, while others turned into monsters, but Jack never expected it would backfire. Because of him, people actually had a great time. One day during the king's parade, he was struck by lightning of judgment. The king immediately ordered the clock tower torn down. The citizens thought this was completely unfair, so they gathered and protested. The goddess understood. After all, it was a popular dating spot for couples. Even the hero joined the protest. Later, suspecting the clock held a secret, the king ordered an investigation and repairs. The hero discovered the three of them, and ended up removing the hour hand. He believed it was responsible, since attack magic activated every hour. Jack cleverly avoided suspicion, but one day, Jack couldn't hold back, and cast attack magic again. Coincidentally, the king passed by and was hit once more. The goddess strongly suspected he did it on purpose. The king ordered the tower destroyed again, but the citizens thought it was cruel, and took to the streets to protest. Even the demon lord and his grandson showed up. The king had no choice but to give up, but ordered the demon lord to investigate the magic, and fix the problem. Following his grandson's advice, the demon lord also found the clock spirits, leading to the minute hand being removed. Since Jack was made of dark matter, he was nearly impossible to detect. A week later, the king was struck by karmic fire. This time, the king had had enough, and insisted on destroying the tower. The citizens stood up again, and called the king heartless. Even Kevin joined them. This time, the goddess was confused, and wondered who this Kevin was. Turns out he was just a random passerby. Sometimes he was hit by the clock's magic too, and looked like he was enjoying it a lot. As it turned out, Kevin was no ordinary person. Even the king treated him with great respect. He even sensed Jack's presence, and guessed he was also a reincarnator. But just then, the demon lord suddenly attacked with his army, throwing the city into chaos. Jack refused to let the demon lord wreak havoc, and decided to use a meteor shower against him. In the end, Jack defeated the demon lord, and peace returned to the world. The goddess could only sigh helplessly, as the hero and Kevin got caught in the blast. Little did anyone know, Kevin seemed to have reincarnated straight into another world. Though peace was restored, the clock tower was destroyed by the meteor shower, ending Jack's life early. When he returned this time, he brought a souvenir, the remains of the minute hand. After some training, Jack reincarnated as a human-shaped clock, vowing never to let instant noodles overcook again. Jack never could have imagined the goddess of reincarnation was actually a Yandere. Max out her favorability, and you'll end up preserved as a specimen. Oddly enough, this sounded perfect to Jack, because being a specimen would let him see the goddess from a loving boyfriend's perspective. Just a moment ago, Jack wondered what his favorability score with her was. Out of a perfect 100, it turned out to be a shocking 95 points. He couldn't help but wonder what would happen if it hit full marks. He soon found out, consumed by obsessive love for him, the goddess would turn him into a specimen, and display him in her room forever. Jack immediately chickened out, his sweet fantasy dating game turning into a horror game in an instant. After being reborn as a hero's rib bone last time, he was set to reincarnate as a hermit crab this round. Even that rebirth would take hundreds of years to process. Worried he'd die right away. As a weak creature at the bottom of the food chain, the goddess added several special traits for him, without extending his long wait. Once ready, she sent Jack off to his new reincarnated world. Jack let out a helpless sigh. The first half of this new life went pretty smoothly, smoothly, until he faced the infernal ruler who loathed the entire world. The goddess never bothered listening to his explanations, and simply rummaged through his soul to see all his memories. Shortly after his birth, Jack was found by a hero, who took him along on countless adventures. The goddess was confused why the hero would do such a thing, until she realized she was the one who made that rule. She'd written it into his fate, to bind Jack's destiny to the hero. On top of that, she destined him to become the hero's most powerful weapon. That was how Jack became the strongest hermit crab alive. After he split mountain ranges, parted the open seas, and tore through thick storm clouds, the hero finally snapped back to his senses, questioning why he'd ever picked up a random hermit crab. But the reincarnation goddess cursed him as a living weapon, making it impossible for the hero to ever get rid of Jack. With no other choice, the hero kept ownership of him, and left Jack in the ocean's care. Down in an underwater temple, Jack soon met the ocean goddess. He complimented her beauty out of nowhere, only to set her off in an instant. Still, Jack rescued the trapped ocean goddess, and renovated her crumbling temple for her. Right after, but colossal ancient guardian Leviathan appeared before them. Jack fought fiercely and blinded Leviathan's right eye, but the battle left him severely wounded. He was saved at the last minute by a wise red salmon master sunbathing on the shore. The goddess of reincarnation was speechless, shocked by just how bizarre Jack's life story had become. To take down the ruthless Leviathan, Jack began harsh training under his salmon master. In the end, he mastered the ultimate forbidden technique, at the cost of his master's life, and finally defeated Leviathan for good. After everything they'd been through, Jack fell in love with the ocean goddess, and the two became a couple. The reincarnation goddess couldn't wrap her head around it. With a loving goddess as his girlfriend, this should have been a perfect happy ending, but Jack's fate as the hero's cursed strongest weapon brought an unexpected tragedy. Due to his bizarre cursed traits, his girlfriend died by accident. The moment she tried to kiss him, furious and heartbroken, Jack blamed the hero for abandoning him in the ocean. He challenged the hero to a fateful final battle, trading brutal fist blows, until both collapsed on the ground exhausted. Once they recognized each other's strength and resolve, the two put their past conflicts aside and made peace. The hero then begged Jack to take his place, and defeat the world-hating infernal ruler, granting all his accumulated power to the hermit crab. Tragedy struck soon after. Stripped of his strength, the hero was hunted down and killed by the infernal ruler's underlings. Fueled by rage and grief, Jack set out to avenge his old companion. He unleashed his ultimate move, and struck the villain down in one blow. The reincarnation goddess was once again left speechless, astonished by how ridiculously overpowered that attack was. Jack casually commented that the infernal ruler's broken, torn apart body looked just like his late salmon master. The goddess instantly pieced together the dark truth. He'd used that same devastating move on his teacher, all because the salmon master simply wanted to see how far his training had come. Jack had kicked his master to death without hesitation. Though peace was restored across the world, the people would never accept a hermit crab as their savior hero. Before he could fulfill his biggest dreams, Jack's lifespan ran out, and he passed away in sorrow. The goddess was confused. He'd saved the entire world, so his life as a hero should have felt complete. Then Jack pulled out a small souvenir he'd kept, a can of red salmon. That final thoughtful gift pushed the goddess's favorability all the way to maximum. Just as her rule foretold, she prepared to preserve Jack as her specimen. Seeing what was coming, Jack made one last simple request, to be kept in his hermit crab form. The goddess tasted the salmon can, and was pleasantly surprised by how good it was. She remembered it was time to arrange Jack's next reincarnation, and asked where he wanted to be reborn. Trapped in his motionless specimen body, Jack gave no response. The goddess turned to go change her clothes, when suddenly, Jack burst violently out of his confinement box. Goddess never saw this coming. Jack would rather reincarnate as a vegetable than share a hug with her, and the goddess in charge of reincarnation held a hidden secret of her own. Lately, she had been obsessed with romance dramas, and longed to embrace someone just like the characters in those shows. The moment Jack heard this, he trotted over at once, wagging his tail, but it did not take long for him to sense something was terribly wrong. A horrifying scene loomed behind the goddess. Jack dodged her embrace, confused about what had suddenly come over her. The goddess urged Jack to hug her quickly, promising to grant any wish he desired. When Jack kept pulling away, she instantly fell into a dark, twisted state. No one knew that after serving as the reincarnation goddess for countless years, she suffered from sudden loneliness fits. The only symptom? An uncontrollable, desperate urge to be hugged. Jack understood that giving in to her hug might grant him a moment of fleeting happiness, yet harsh consequences would follow once she returned to her senses. After regaining her sanity, the goddess would be consumed by endless regret and shame. She would hunt Jack down repeatedly, killing him over and over until he lost all his memories. Terrified of this fate, Jack rushed to complete his reincarnation into another world. As luck would have it, his random rebirth role landed him the life of a vegetable. The goddess scoffed, saying a whole world filled with nothing but vegetables would be absolute nightmare nightmare for Jack? She limited his form to a single vegetable, but still refused to let him leave so easily. He had to wrap her in a tight hug first, before he could proceed with his reincarnation. Jack steered his reincarnation pod, and smoothly swerved past the goddess. Still, misfortune caught up fast, and he was forced to circle right back to her side. The goddess drew near, claiming her strange sickness was fully cured, before launching a sudden attack without warning. Thankfully, Jack leaped out of the way just in time. He then pulled out a neural link device, and showed it straight to the goddess. Jack's new identity was now clear. He had been reborn as the mighty tomato hero, sworn to defeat the demon lord, who brought ruin to the human realm. Believing the time had come, he resolved to step forward and save the world. But being nothing more than a tomato, he knew he needed to gather allies first. Deep in the dead of night, he shouted loudly into the dark, calling out for any vegetables brave enough to join his quest against the demon lord. In the end, only the night patrol grandpa heard his desperate cries. Frightened out of his wits, the old man thought he had run into a ghost, and tried to flee for his life. Even so, he ended up becoming Jack's very first companion. Jack thought teaming up with a regular human lacked any heroic flair. Using his magic, he sealed the grandpa's soul inside an onion, giving birth to the fierce onion warrior. His unique innate skill forced all enemies to burst into uncontrollable tears. Their first foe was the head chef of a local kitchen, and the pair ended up running for their lives, chased relentlessly by the furious cook. Mid-chase, the chef spotted the grandpa's empty human body, and froze in place from pure terror. Seizing the perfect opening, Jack cast a powerful sealing spell, trapping the chef's soul inside an eggplant. He took half of the sealed eggplant back as a souvenir, and the large crate he carried was stuffed full of his newly recruited allies. Along their brutal journey, they faced relentless attacks from all kinds of monsters. Many companions were devoured on the way, forcing Jack to constantly seek out new members to fill their depleted ranks. After countless hardships, they finally reached the Demon Lord's castle, with only 4 survivors left in their party. The remaining members included the original Onion Warrior, a tofu martial artist who joined them along the way, and Baharu Medja, the evil dragon god. The goddess guessed their safe arrival was all thanks to the terrifying power of the evil dragon god. To her utter shock, the dragon god was actually the weakest of the group, refusing to believe he could be weaker than an onion. She checked their levels at once. The evil dragon god only sat at level 72, while the Onion Warrior towered at level 98. The world's maximum level cap was 99, and Jack himself stood at an astonishing level 872. The goddess was left speechless. He had secretly given himself special cheat abilities that broke past all natural limits. After all, no matter how high a vegetable leveled up, it would still always be just a vegetable at its core. Soon after, the final battle began. Against the Demon Lord, the mighty potato swordsman, Jack was stunned to recognize the Demon Lord as a man he had met long ago in a tavern. He was the very person whose soul he had sealed inside a potato all that time ago. The Demon Lord burned with rage toward Jack, and the goddess found this reaction completely understandable. She assumed he hated being turned into a lowly vegetable. However, the real source of his fury was something far more petty. He was furious that Jack had lured away the evil dragon god with nothing but a few simple feeds. For the record, the evil dragon god was absolutely obsessed with eating eggplants. It all clicked for the goddess in an instant. She finally understood why half of the sealed eggplant souvenir had gone missing. The ultimate showdown between Jack and the Demon Lord began. The Demon Lord unleashed a legendary sword skill, capable of slicing through time and space itself. Yet the tofu martial artist blocked the devastating strike with nothing but his bare hands. Next, the Onion Warrior presented a heart-wrenching picture story, reducing the Demon Lord to uncontrollable tears. The evil dragon god finished the fight by breathing a wave of fire that burned the entire Demon Lord's castle to the ground. In the end, Jack struck down the Demon Lord, restoring peace and order to the world. The grandpa's soul returned safely to his original human body. Unable to bear watching the noble tomato hero rot away, the old man buried Jack deep in the soil, caring for him with gentle devotion to this very day. That was why there had never been a tomato among his collection of souvenirs. Seeing the goddess fully cured at last, Jack made a new plan. He would turn all his loyal companions into a big pot of curry. The man never imagined that the goddess would suddenly get lonely out of the blue and act totally out of character by taking the initiative to ask Jack for a hug. But Jack didn't fall for it. He knew if he really hugged her while she was in this state, once she snapped out of her weird mood, she'd be filled with regret and embarrassment. She would erase every memory of Jack until she forgot all about him completely. The next moment, the goddess said she was already back to normal, so Jack decided to test her right away. The goddess was genuinely impressed by Jack, even though he could respawn instantly after dying. His completely unshaken attitude was actually kind of intimidating. As a seasoned reincarnator, Jack had long since figured out the whole reincarnation process. It was almost time for him to be reborn into another world again. This time, he still got a non-human form. He became the lock attached to a treasure chest. As usual, he was allowed to pick his own special ability. Jack wanted to go with a classic electric trap, but the goddess turned it down on the spot and sent him off to reincarnate right away. Yet just a few minutes later, Jack was back in the goddess's room again. It turned out the goddess had put her desserts inside a safe to keep Jack from sneaking a bite, and now she couldn't get it open at all. The goddess immediately used her soul-searching ability. This time Jack was reborn as the lock on a shrine treasure chest. He looked pretty cheap, and he really was inexpensive. He only cost $20 on sale. To make it easier for the goddess to understand, Jack turned into human form to explain what his job was like. The key to unlock the chest was placed in the next room. It was made of pure gold and inlaid with all kinds of high-grade precious gems. The goddess couldn't help wondering what priceless thing inside the chest could possibly deserve such a luxurious key. But she never expected the one sealed inside was the Demon Lord. She asked Jack curiously how the Demon Lord ended up locked away. Jack explained the Demon Lord had been split into 6 pieces and sealed inside. Many years ago, the Demon Lord tried to destroy the world and turn all humans into servants of the sea. It wasn't until the gods stepped in that they sealed the Demon Lord inside the treasure chest, and Jack was reborn as the lock guarding the chest. Day after day, he could hear the Demon Lord complaining non-stop, full of hatred over being sealed away. After a long time, Jack started to feel sorry for the Demon Lord. He struck up a conversation, saying he could understand his pain, and that life was all about staying happy. But his kind words only got mocked by the Demon Lord. Fed up with the Demon Lord's arrogance, Jack used lemon squeeze magic, splattering lemon juice all over the Demon Lord's clothes. The temple priests took the sudden appearance of lemon juice as an ominous sign. Still, Jack wasn't ready to stop there. He went on to use salad oil magic next. The priests sensed the danger immediately and joined forces to cast a barrier to reinforce the seal, but the oil caught fire and burned the barrier to pieces. Just as the priests were at a loss for what to do, an old man showed up holding the key, planning to open the chest and take a look inside. Jack worried the key was too big to fit into the lock, so he unleashed a burst of lemon spray right into the old man's eyes. The old man flew into a rage at once. He was actually the god who sealed the Demon Lord long ago. The god pulled out his divine weapon, a demon-slaying sword capable of destroying souls. As the sword was about to strike down on the chest, Jack spat out more salad oil, making the god slip and fall flat on the ground. He kept doing this over and over again, until the demon-slaying sword broke from all the constant falls. Flying into a fit of rage, the god threw himself straight at the chest, only to get electrocuted to death by it. The goddess was confused, because Jack wasn't supposed to have electric powers. It turned out the treasure chest was also a reincarnator from another world, and electric shocks were its special ability. Even though the god was defeated, the Demon Lord inside the chest was also killed in the process. In the end, it was just like the tale of a hero defeating the Demon Lord. The treasure chest itself was actually the hero all along. The goddess teased that Jack was really the mastermind behind everything. With both the god and the Demon Lord defeated, the conflict that disrupted the balance between the two worlds was finally gone. After that, the treasure chest transformed into its hero form and left, and as just a simple lock, Jack no longer had any purpose left to fulfill. The reincarnation goddess never imagined what would happen next. Jack's reincarnation role turned out to be a voice inside the hero's mind, whose only job was to notify the hero whenever their level went up. Even so, Jack thought he'd hit the jackpot right away. The moment he spoke, his perverted nature showed straight away. He hoped the hero would be a girl. The goddess quickly added a special rule of her own. Anytime Jack got lewd thoughts, the hero would instantly turn male. Jack was instantly disappointed, and soon after, he was sent off to begin his reincarnation. In the blink of an eye, he was transported straight into the hero's mind, and even given his own private office there. Before the goddess could even decide what instant noodles to eat, Jack unexpectedly popped back again without any surprise. Dragging his feet listlessly, Jack explained he'd had a whole plan ready to keep spouting lewd comments non-stop, only for everything to fall apart completely. That was because his role inside the hero's mind was fixed as the level announcer, only allowed to speak when the hero leveled up. The goddess was totally confused by his story, so she decided to read his soul directly to find the truth. It turned out Jack had been reborn inside the hero when the boy was 10 years old, assigned to announce the very first level up when the hero reached level 1. Every time he made an announcement, a system window would pop up above the hero's head. The hero found the sight creepy and disgusting, and grew to resent Jack because of it. Since the hero badmouthed him like that, Jack retaliated by blasting loud rock music inside his head all day long. This went on non-stop for 5 full years, until the hero finally gave in and put up with it. Time flew by, and the hero turned 15. The goddess assumed he must have leveled up dozens of times by then, but surprisingly, since he'd never once accepted Jack's notifications, the hero couldn't level up at all. All those years were wasted for nothing, and he only set off on his adventure journey at 15. As expected, the very first monster the hero encountered was a slime. Jack reenacted the scene vividly for the goddess, showing off how he'd acted back then. He kept narrating the hero's failed attacks over and over, then mocked the hero, saying he could do a far better job himself. Besides the goddess, who found him annoying, the person in charge of battle notifications couldn't stand Jack either. There were also other mind dwellers in charge of command alerts and stat updates. Long before the hero ever leveled up, Jack would mess around and cause chaos inside his head. That got him scolded by the mind dweller in charge of playing background music. Eventually, the 3 other mind dwellers and the hero all reached their limit with Jack's antics. Though the hero finally managed to reach level 10 and grow stronger, Jack had been slacking off on his job the entire time leading up to it. Later on, he even straight up forgot to make level announcements at all. The moment the hero hit level 10 at last, the mind dweller in charge of choice notifications suddenly dropped dead out of nowhere. It turned out there was a hidden rule. Every time the hero gained 10 levels, one random mind dweller would die instantly. After learning this truth, the hero turned ruthless and cold. Determined to wipe out every last mind dweller inside his head, he began leveling up like crazy, and quickly climbed all the way to level 20. By the time he reached level 50, many innocent mind dwellers had already lost their lives. The remaining mind dwellers had no way to fight back at all. They could only talk and do nothing else. The hero was tormented endlessly by them, and the hatred between both sides kept growing deeper and deeper. Oddly enough, Jack admitted he couldn't understand why. The hero only grew angrier and more hostile toward them all. In the end, the hero finally figured out a way to step into his own inner mind and attack the mind dwellers directly. One by one, all the other mind dwellers were wiped out, until only Jack was left alone. Yet shockingly, the hero was no match for Jack at all. The goddess couldn't understand how Jack could overpower a hero far above level 50. The reason was simple. Since Jack had resided inside the hero's body all these years, he gained experience right alongside him as well. Jack's own level had soared all the way to level 80. The goddess chose to drop the matter, not bothering to dig into this weird experience distribution rule any further. Still refusing to give up, the hero made the desperate choice to form an alliance with the Demon Lord. As everyone expected, even the Demon Lord was easily defeated by Jack, who wasted no time mocking the hero once again. Just as the hero sank into total despair, he suddenly realized the notification system could be turned off through the setting options. From that day on, the hero never turned the notifications back on again. And with that, Jack's life in this reincarnation came to an end. Since nothing valuable was found this time, the only loot brought back was a single shopping cart. The goddess had nothing in particular she wanted to buy for herself, so she decided to use the cart to buy a pair of chopsticks for Jack instead. Jack asked if he could get an identical matching pair to use with the goddess. The man never could have imagined. Even reincarnation requires waiting in line. Popular roles have a wait of at least 100 years, and some take as long as tens of thousands of years. It all started when he put on a dog costume, just to make his online crush happy for an offline meetup. Thinking his crush was right inside the cafe across the street, he rushed out without caring about the red light. He even stood in the middle of the road, obediently spinning 3 times and barking like a dog. Unsurprisingly, he got hit by a car, and then struck by a meteorite falling from the sky. When he came to his senses, he was standing right in front of a goddess. The goddess thought Jack was utterly perverted, and warned she would send him straight to hell if he could not communicate properly. But Jack only cared about figuring out who this beautiful woman really was. He was not the least shocked to learn she was a goddess, and immediately let his weird side take over, demanding to know her 3 body measurements. Annoyed by his nonsense, the goddess played a video of his past life. Jack wondered if this counted as secret filming, but mortal laws meant nothing to a deity. In short, Jack died in this bizarre accident. It was then he finally found out his online crush already had a boyfriend. He also learned what she went through just to meet him. She was attacked by a bear right after leaving home, stepped on a bomb while passing a construction site in her mascot costume, and barely made it to the station, only to get hunted down for bumping into a mafia boss. In the end, she too was hit by a car and killed by a meteorite. This place was the transfer station for reincarnating into another world. The goddess would send Jack to rebirth, based on his own wishes, but from the goddess, he learned there were countless reincarnators. For example, the role he had his eye on required a wait of 54,930 years. If he did not want to wait that long, he could choose to be a random villager with only one line in the story, which still required a 500-year wait. The reason was every role in decent, peaceful worlds was extremely popular, big or small. cruel, harsh worlds, on the other hand, had far shorter waiting times. Take the role of a hero for instance. In a world where the hero is mocked and looked down on his entire life, reincarnation could be arranged in just 5 minutes. Seeing this, Jack decided to become the Demon Lord instead. Yet even the Demon Lord role started at a 20,000-year wait. Defeated Demon Lords only needed a few years, and those doomed to lifelong scorn and ridicule could be reborn in merely 8 minutes. Some people chose to reincarnate as non-living things, such as the hero's weapon or a vending machine. But with Jack's lecherous, lustful personality, any role he actually wanted would come with a very long wait. Losing her patience, the goddess urged him to make up his mind quickly. Her favorite TV show was about to start airing, and she threatened to turn him into a bacterium if he kept wasting her time. Jack finally spoke his weird wish. He wanted to reincarnate as one of the hero's ribs. The goddess was confused and asked what he meant. Jack explained his twisted plan. If he became one of the hero's ribs, he could be touched and pleasured by every girl in the hero's harem. The goddess was completely stunned by his warped mindset, unable to comprehend how someone could be so perverted. Still, since Jack had already made his choice, the goddess granted his bizarre wish and sent him off to become the rib of an overpowered hero. Yet only a few minutes later, Jack was right back at the transfer station. It meant he had failed to fulfill his wish. Too lazy to argue with him, the goddess directly searched his soul to view his memories. As a rib attached to the hero, he watched the hero defeat the Demon Lord and rescue the imprisoned princess. As the overpowered hero built up a huge harem, Jack was constantly being touched and caressed by the hero's many female companions. He grew especially fond of one girl, who confessed her love to the hero 21 times, only to be rejected every single time. Hoping for one last embrace with the hero, the girl begged for a final chance. At that moment, Jack lost control and accidentally spoke out loud. The hero immediately set out to find which rib was talking. He guessed it was the 11th rib on his right side, but Jack had misspoken earlier. He was actually the 10th rib on the left. Suddenly, the 11th right rib, which had been pulled out earlier, transformed into a rib hero. The two then began fighting over who was the real original hero. The female lead assumed the overpowered original hero would win, but to everyone's shock, the 11th rib hero also had a cheat ability. In the end, the 11th rib hero claimed victory, all because he had one more rib than the original hero. After the original hero was defeated and erased, only scattered ribs were left flying everywhere. Still not satisfied with his new power, the winning rib hero planned to absorb the strength of all the other ribs. Just as he was about to do so, every remaining rib transformed into an individual hero. As a reincarnator, Jack stayed stuck in his ordinary rib form. The newly born rib heroes immediately began a fierce battle for the title of true hero. Their fight tore the world apart, causing mountains to crumble and the earth to split. Battles like the one between the 5th right rib hero and the 7th left rib hero ended up destroying entire planets. The 10th left rib hero even created brand new heroes, using his own rib bones. It got even more absurd from there. Two of the rib heroes even fell in love with each other. As for Jack, he was carried off by a beast girl from the original hero's harem. Eventually, the 3rd left rib hero unleashed an ultimate move called the Rib Miracle, turning all the fighting heroes back into broken rib fragments. The Great Rib Hero War finally came to an end. The hero's harem buried all the scattered ribs, leaving only Jack behind to become the Beast Girl's chew toy. The goddess was left speechless and exhausted, wondering if the Beast Girl was also a reincarnator. One day, Jack was found lying in a vegetable garden. He was crushed to pieces and turned into fertilizer, dying once again and returning with unfulfilled wishes. He did not come back empty-handed though. He brought back one of the hero's ribs as a gift for the goddess. Disgusted by the strange present, the goddess had no choice but to let him reincarnate again. She told him to pull the lever on the reincarnation machine himself. The machine would drop a perfect rebirth destination that matched all his deepest desires. Jack never imagined. He only wanted to make the goddess his girlfriend, only to get completely destroyed by the cold and aloof beauty. Even so, influenced by him, the goddess slowly started getting dirty jokes, all because Jack was about to reincarnate as the cord tied to the secret scroll. He didn't want some creepy middle-aged man to get hold of it, so he planned to turn his whole body into an ultra-sensitive zone. It all started when Jack ran into Mr. Tanaka, the clock-hand figure he met during his last reincarnation. Turns out Mr. Tanaka had been reborn as a hero now, defeating demon lords non-stop just to find his girlfriend. Seeing Tanaka reincarnated into this new world and used as a human punching bag, the goddess finally realized who he was, that weird pervert who loved pain. The goddess was utterly speechless and told Jack to just act like he didn't know him, but Jack kept pushing his luck right on the brink of death. Still still hoping he could win the goddess over as his girlfriend. As expected, the goddess turned him down flat and wiped him out all over again. She brought him back to life once more, and after messing around a little, it was time to send him off to reincarnate again. This time, Jack drew the roll of the cord from the legendary secret scroll. Before he left, he said to the goddess, "You've been eating way too many snacks lately. You've put on weight. I heard a spoonful of olive oil every day helps you lose weight." The goddess's face turned dark with anger. She filled Jack's reincarnation pod completely with olive oil, and warned him not to spill a single drop on his way to the other world. After Jack left, the goddess started working out at home to lose weight. Once she stepped on the scale and saw she'd lost some pounds, she rewarded herself with tons of cake. Soon after, Jack returned from the other world again, shocked to see the table piled high with snacks. The goddess had made a special pact with Jack. If he stuck to losing weight, she would slim down too. She made him run on the treadmill and report his progress the whole time. The author of the scroll was the legendary ninja King Sorakayo. Inside the scroll, he left a secret ninjutsu that could instantly make even the harshest environments cozy and livable. It was named the Jutsu of King Sorakayo. He cast the instant cooling technique mid-air, and the cracked barren land sprang back to life in an instant, with plants and nature thriving everywhere. But this jutsu drained an enormous amount of chakra, so the powerful secret ninjutsu had to be sealed away. He then pulled a slimy sticky cord out from his chest. King Sorakayo never expected the cord to keep oozing oil non-stop. It was all because Jack's last meal before reincarnation was nothing but olive oil. But the legendary ninja had no choice but to use this very cord, since he was a total clean freak. He ended up tying the scroll with it while holding back tears. 100 years passed in this way, and the whole world enjoyed mild pleasant weather the entire time. Until one day, the guardian holding up the floating stone glanced a little too long at a fairy passing by. Flying into a rage, his wife transformed into a world-ending dragon and froze the entire floating stone in ice. Just then, a lone hero stepped forward, determined to save the world. Firiko set out to find the cave map that marked the location of the secret scroll. He snuck into the ninja village alone, only to be met with a rather hostile welcome. Even the gate handle of the ninja village was rigged with an electric shock trap. Firiko bought a pair of insulating gloves from a local shop, but since he was an intruder, the greedy merchant hiked the price up by 10%. Surprisingly, the goddess thought the shopkeeper was actually pretty honest, but even with the gloves on, he still got shocked. Turns out the gloves were only meant for scrolling on a phone. The lone hero had no other choice but to crash straight through the gate. After a fierce battle with the village ninjas, he broke into the treasure vault and stole the cave map. To make his escape, he fired the rocket launcher on his back. He soared up into the air, blasting all the nearby ninjas away, and accidentally burning down the whole village in the process. Once inside the cave, Firiko finally found the secret scroll. By now, Jack's body had a special quirk, where he kept dripping olive oil non-stop. Every time Firiko tried to get close to the scroll, Jack ran away and kept avoiding him. The goddess couldn't understand why he was acting like this. Turns out it was simply because Firiko was way too handsome, and it annoyed Jack to no end. Admittedly, the story really didn't need a handsome hero character anyway. Jack sprayed a splash of olive oil right all over Firiko's face. The goddess was completely done with his nonsense. She recalled he'd once pulled the exact same prank with salad oil before. In the end, Firiko managed to win Jack over with kindness. He successfully opened the scroll and mastered the jutsu of King Sorakayo. He restored the world's climate to a steady constant temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. The goddess was confused how Firiko could even read Japanese. Jack explained he'd taught him using a translation app. Life as just a cord was incredibly boring, so he decided to come back early. His new random item this time was the phone-friendly gloves. "So, my lady goddess, can I finally take a break now?" "Not a chance. You've only run 27 kilometers. Finish the full 42.195 kilometers properly, just to help the goddess lose weight." Jack pushed through and ran a full marathon. Jack never imagined that the goddess might get hate mail from other gods if she revealed herself. It all started when the goddess received an unknown package one day. Inside was a beautiful kimono. Jack asked if it was a gift from another god. The goddess fell silent and said those gods would probably only send harsh threats instead. It was clear she didn't get along well with her fellow deities. Seeing the goddess about to throw the kimono away, Jack suddenly said he had a bold idea. The goddess saw right through him at once and flatly refused, saying she would never wear it. Soon it was time for Jack to reincarnate into another world. In his past lives, he'd been a treasure chest block and a scroll cord one after another. This time, after such a long while, he finally wanted to be a living creature, but he ended up feeling so emotionally immersed that tears just kept streaming down his face. The goddess looked on, curious about what fate he had drawn. Turns out he was reborn as the awkward, lonely vibe of a single man sitting right behind a kissing couple. Jack couldn't stop crying. This awkward loneliness felt way too familiar to him. Full of bitter frustration, he stepped into the reincarnation pod. The goddess then sent him off to his new life. While he was away, the goddess ended up putting on that kimono after all. Her brand new look was absolutely stunning and impossible to take one's eyes off. Right then, Jack finished his reincarnation and returned. He couldn't help but compliment how amazing she looked in the kimono. Not in the mood for small talk, the goddess immediately began soul-searching his memories. This time, Jack had become the awkward, lonely aura felt by a single man sitting behind a kissing couple. Before long, a middle-aged man couldn't stand the couple's public display of affection any longer. His face twisted into a fierce scowl as he charged toward them. The faint blue resentment lingering behind the man was none other than Jack himself. Jack then started playing music for the man. The wildly out-of-place background track only made the whole atmosphere even more cringy and awkward. Flustered beyond words, the man climbed up to the edge of a fountain. The couple just stared at him like they were watching a clown show. Panicked and at a loss for what to do, the man slipped and fell straight into the water. Once it was all over, Jack left the man behind and wandered off alone. Nearby, a small stage play was being performed. Jack possessed one of the actors dressed in yellow, who played the role of a hero. Beside him was another actor acting as a slime. The hero had raised since it was little. There was only one couple in the entire audience. They paid no attention to the show at all, and only cared about making out with each other. The hero stood there in total awkwardness, and that awkwardness was exactly what drew Jack to possess him. Ignoring the kissing couple entirely, the hero threw himself into the performance. His bizarre act shocked the making out couple, and even made the other performers burst out laughing. Amazed by this unexpected comedic effect, the hero decided to switch careers and become a comedian. The catch was he could only fall into that jealous, comedic mood when a couple kissed right in front of him, so he offered a large reward to find audience couples willing to make out during his shows. He went to wedding ceremonies and kissing contests alike, until he finally found the perfect pair, a couple who loved showing off their romance, right in front of single people on purpose. Even the goddess was impressed that Jack was willing to go along with the hero's story. Before long, the hero became a comedy star loved by people of all ages. The only thing that still annoyed Jack was there was always a kissing couple right in front of the hero. As the hero's fame skyrocketed, a man filled with jealousy appeared on the scene. He was the reincarnation of the Demon Lord. The Demon Lord wanted to copy the hero's path to success, which meant he also needed a kissing couple placed right in front of him. Thus began an epic comedy showdown between the Demon Lord and the hero. The rule to win was simple. Whoever got more cushioned seats from the audience by putting on the funnier performance would be the victor. Both of them were beings who once held power over entire worlds, and their pile of cushioned seats kept piling up crazily. Eventually, the moment came to decide the winner. The hero pulled out a brand new, never seen before comedy gag that instantly blew the whole crowd away. The goddess asked why the screen suddenly went black. Jack explained that this special finale performance was only available in the limited edition Blu-ray box set. Peace returned to the world, but Jack never expected his own end would come soon after. It all began when that overly affectionate show-off couple suddenly broke up. The reason? The guy had eaten a pork and kimono bento, and didn't brush his teeth right before their public kiss. Soon after, an urban legend spread. Any couple who kissed in front of others was doomed to split up. With no more kissing couples left, there was no longer any lonely, awkward single-person vibe for Jack to inhabit. He faded away completely, unable to survive without his unique environment. On another note, since the goddess rarely wore a kimono, they decided to soak up a little New Year's festive mood. They sat together under a heated kotatsu table, munching on oranges and watching comedy variety shows. As for the souvenir Jack had brought back with him, it was none other than the hero's limited edition Blu-ray box set, complete with exclusive bonus footage. The reincarnated goddess never imagined the Demon Lord Jack had killed before, and the Red Salmon Master who taught him his ultimate skill, were actually one and the same person. It all started moments ago when Jack received a letter from the former Demon Lord, Spethias. The goddess couldn't wrap her head around it. If Jack had killed the Demon Lord, why would the Demon Lord send him a letter? Though the two had their fair share of bad blood, they teamed up to take down that obnoxious celestial god, and exchanged contact info afterward. Word spread that after the Demon Lord died a tragic death, he reincarnated into another world as a red salmon. The goddess immediately grew wary, and the letter also mentioned the Demon Lord had taken a hermit crab as his disciple. This instantly reminded Jack of the Red Salmon Master who taught him his ultimate move. The goddess's suspicion was now fully confirmed. Sure enough, the Red Salmon who taught him the deadly finishing move was none other than the former Demon Lord himself. This time, Jack's reincarnation role landed him as a descendant of the World Tree, in a world locked in constant brutal survival rivalry with beavers. The goddess urged Jack to hurry up, or the reincarnation gate would get gnawed down by beavers any minute. Right after that, the goddess sent Jack off to his new reincarnation. She couldn't help but wonder how Jack was faring over in that world, but much to her surprise, Jack popped back home straight out of a microwave. and just like always, he failed his reincarnation. Everyone was left confused how he even came out of there. Turns out Jack had opened a door marked temporary, and simply walked right back. Even so, he'd actually had a great time there, and the goddess realized she'd worried for nothing. She wasted no time and immediately used her soul scrying ability. This alternate world was built around Jack's father, the World Tree. Countless kin and siblings grew all around him, forming a vast forest in the process. Everything was peaceful until one day, a massive beaver army suddenly invaded, igniting an all-out war between the forest and the beavers. What Jack never saw coming was that the beavers were armed with modern weaponry, forming an incredibly formidable military force to protect the World Tree. All the forest creatures stepped forward to join the fight, and the battle quickly fell into a brutal stalemate. Even with the animals fighting alongside them, they couldn't hold back the beaver army's relentless advance. One after another, Jack's tree kin got gnawed apart by the beavers. In that desperate moment, Jack unleashed his roar attack. The beavers clutched their ears and collapsed to the ground in agony. The only catch was the move hit friend and foe alike, and his own allies soon began foaming at the mouth too. Jack couldn't help feeling smug, boasting his roar clocked in at around 150 decibels, louder even than a jet engine. Unfortunately, his loud scream alone wasn't enough to defend their home, and the beavers simply circled around him to keep gnawing on the other trees, helpless and at a total loss. As he watched his family being destroyed right in front of him, Jack could only stand there biting his fingers, powerless to intervene. The goddess corrected him right away, saying someone who's truly at a loss wouldn't even have the mind to bite their fingers. Then everyone was shocked to see Jack had actually grown real legs. With a sudden burst of strength, Jack uprooted himself from the ground, charging straight into the beaver ranks and scattering their army in chaos. Combined with his ear-splitting roar, he finally defeated the entire beaver army single-handedly. His father and tree siblings were endlessly grateful to him, though they begged him to keep his voice down a little. They also said he was the only one with legs who could ever end this war, but the goddess could tell. Jack's own family was clearly annoyed by his noise. Determined to put an end to the war for good, Jack set off alone for the beaver tribe's dam. Faced with the beaver force's relentless gunfire, Jack dodged bullets by darting left and right non-stop, leaving the goddess utterly speechless at his antics. The low-ranked beavers couldn't stop him at all, and rushed to report to their leader that a World Tree had broken into their territory. Meanwhile, the Beaver King was busy playing a game, grumbling about being distracted mid-match, and losing right on the spot. When the Beaver King turned around, his subordinates instantly made a clear path between him and Jack. The goddess couldn't help but think it was completely absurd. Even the Beaver King was thrown off by a walking tree. The two sides then faced off in an ultimate screaming battle, ending in both sides being worn out and equally defeated. After that, the Beaver King proposed settling the dispute with a dance-off. He stepped up to the dance machine, kicking off an intense and thrilling dance battle. In the end, Jack won the contest, thanks to his extra pair of legs. The Beaver King agreed from then on to never attack the World Tree Forest again. However, the battle caused Jack to mutate, growing a total of 8 legs. The goddess was completely lost for words. Watching such a bizarre showdown, she just wanted to know why the beavers had attacked the World Tree in the first place. As it turned out, they only wanted wood to repair their dam. But when Jack returned home to the forest, all the other World Trees saw him as a monster, staring at him with judgmental eyes of outsiders at all times. Unable to bear those strange and cold stares any longer, Jack begged the Beaver King to turn him into lumber, choosing to end his life as a tree early. As a souvenir to bring back this time, Jack brought a young World Tree sapling with him. Now the goddess has one more potted plant to decorate her room with. Jack never imagined that all he wanted was to reincarnate and sing a duet with the goddess, only to be blasted into ashes by her. Before long, Jack was resurrected again. He couldn't understand why he had to be reborn into another world. In his case, wouldn't it be much simpler to just revive and return to his original world directly? Unfortunately, even the goddess couldn't make that happen. Some gods also disapproved of reckless reincarnation and resurrection. In other words, whether they accept interworld reincarnators all depends on the breadth of each god's mind. Jack had always messed up every reincarnation trial at the interworld reincarnation grounds. Apart from the reincarnation goddess who was still willing to take him in, all the other gods had long blacklisted him. Jack found this utterly unfair. He had defeated the demon lord, and even taken down the hero as well, yet the final outcome failed to meet the gods' expectations. Normally, any decent story would satisfy the gods, but Jack always managed to ruin that part somehow. Seeing Jack finally fired up with motivation, the goddess decided to take this momentum and send him off to another world once more. In the lottery draw this time, he ended up with an explosive item designed to blow up popular social elites. The goddess thought this would make for plenty of drama, and soon sent Jack off to begin his new reincarnation. Even the goddess couldn't help complaining about the lottery box. She had only set it to random by default, and sure enough, nothing ordinary ever came out of it. In the end, mere minutes passed before Jack's latest reincarnation ended and he was sent back home. The goddess didn't even need to guess. He had failed yet again. She wondered what kind of explosive object he had turned into, never once expecting it would be a simple banana peel. The goddess decided to use her soul scrying ability right away. In the vision, anyone who stepped on Jack slipped and actually exploded. Even she couldn't make sense of this bizarre mechanism. It turned out whenever a social elite stepped on him, they were guaranteed to slip and end up with a spiky exploded hairstyle. The moment the couple turned into spiky-haired explosions, a woman named Aquila, who was far from being a social elite, happened to witness the whole scene. She had impossibly high standards for an ideal partner, which was why she had never met a man she liked. She had 3 criteria for her ideal type. Standards the goddess knew well: tall, highly educated, and high income. By contrast, Jack only came off as creepy, boring, and frivolous. Jack quickly corrected her, saying he was actually a wind mage, a thunder mage, and a castanets performer. Getting back on track, Aquila noticed Jack in his banana peel form on the ground. She stared at him suspiciously, and to confirm her doubts, she stepped right on him. Though Aquila slipped, she didn't explode, but everyone around her suffered the effect instead. With this banana peel that only turned loving couples into spiky-haired freaks, Aquila now had a way to punish those annoying popular social elites. More and more couples stepped on the banana peel, slipping and transforming into exploded hairstyles one after another. Before long, 80% of couples across the country were sporting spiky hair. Later on, Aquila ascended to become the new demon lord, vowing to turn the remaining 20% of couples the same way, and build a world full of ridiculous spiky-haired people. At that moment, Jack let out a laugh, startling Aquila out of nowhere. Still, Jack was no ordinary banana peel capable of triggering miracles, so the demon lord quickly accepted the fact that he could talk. She even proposed an alliance with him, to turn all social elites into spiky-haired explosions. With 80% of couples already transformed, the hero finally made his appearance. Every time a couple exploded, the sound of castanets would ring out all around. The hero immediately identified Aquila as the demon lord, and charged in to attack. To stop the hero from closing in, the demon lord hurled Jack away, flying at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. He landed perfectly right under the hero's feet. The hero slipped, but since he wasn't a social elite, he didn't explode. Instead, every nearby middle-aged man underwent a drastic visual transformation. The hero wasted no time and launched a full power attack without mercy, but Jack possessed a conceptual divine skill that made absolutely anything slip and stumble. Even the hero's magic spells tripped over themselves, accidentally turning all the nearby townsmen into muscular hunks. Once 90% of the city's middle-aged men had morphed into buff figures, the demon lord was finally cornered. Yet as another fellow outsider who struggled with social life, the hero could truly understand the demon lord's pain and resentment. After all, he was the ultimate loner who could even form his own band alone. The hero then put forward a proposal, a fair and honorable one-on-one showdown. If the demon lord lost, she would have to give up her plan of turning couples into spiky-haired explosions. The demon lord agreed without hesitation, and the final showdown between them began. It was nothing like the serious battle the goddess had imagined, but instead a street music battle. Both had practiced musical instruments since they dreamed of becoming musicians, and both gave it their all. They put on an absolutely stunning musical show for the audience. In the end, the hero claimed victory. Jack used his power to blow up the social elites and hype up the crowd perfectly, but he completely forgot he was fresh produce, and quickly rotted away in the aftermath of the explosions, bringing his current life to an end. Afterwards, Aquila and the hero officially started dating. The two even formed a castanets band that took the world by storm. As for the souvenir Jack brought back this time, it turned out to be the band's brand new CD, titled Exploding Muscle Men. Jack never could have imagined that before taking charge of reincarnation duties, the reincarnation goddess was actually the goddess of annihilation who specialized in eradicating evil gods. Jack's past life was most likely a little dog that got caught in the crossfire during her battles. Countless worlds across the multiverse often suffer flawed evolution. Take this world for instance. Its supreme deity controls all human minds worldwide, forcing everyone to believe they live in perfect happiness. That was why the creator sent the goddess of annihilation to hunt down evil gods. She defeated any evil god with just a single strike. All evil gods stripped of their divine power by her would be sealed away forever. Yet the fierce battle between the two deities accidentally killed an innocent little dog. Tens of thousands of years later, that dog was reborn as Jack. For certain reasons, the goddess was demoted to an idle post and became the reincarnation goddess. This time, Jack drew his next reincarnation form, a torch mounted on a maze wall. He headed off for rebirth, landing straight in the world of Minecraft. As expected, Jack finished the short reincarnation quickly and returned. The goddess instantly fused him with a television set. In this new life, he became the one and only torch fixed on the walls. of an ultra-hard mace towered that sealed away the hero's holy sword. The holy sword within the chamber was the most powerful weapon in existence, capable of granting any wish anyone held in their heart. The goddess grew confused seeing other torches nearby, since Jack was supposed to be the sole torch in the maze. It turned out his special trait let him move freely anywhere on the walls. Thanks to this ability, Jack soon explored the entire maze without trouble. Right then, the holy sword spoke to him, revealing it was none other than the former clock elder. The goddess could not help but complain about how everyone lately kept reincarnating into inanimate objects. The day finally arrived when the hero party came to conquer the maze. The team only had 4 members, a hero, a warrior, a martial artist and a knight, eager to be wielded by the hero as soon as possible. The holy sword begged Jack to lead the group over, knowing he had already mapped out every corner of the maze. Since the heroes were still far too weak, it also asked Jack to train them along the way. Jack had already wiped out all monsters while exploring earlier, but all creatures here respawned every 2 hours. Having already reached the maximum level long ago, Jack easily guided the party to clear through the whole maze. The goddess was utterly amazed that everyone could accept a talking torch without batting an eye. After months of training inside the maze, the group safely reached the final floor, where everything suddenly took a dark turn. The moment the hero pulled the holy sword free, a towering giant emerged right behind them. The goddess suddenly realized there had only been 3 people in the party earlier. The missing member was the martial artist, who had been abandoned as bait during their previous fights. Driven by hatred, the martial artist transformed into a vengeful wraith. He unleashed his ultimate secret art, merged his body with monsters, and came charging over seeking brutal revenge. Just then, Master Red Salmon sent Jack an urgent message. The goddess wondered what emergency had come up, and Jack hurried to read through the news. Helpless against the transformed martial artist, the hero party stood no chance and was swiftly wiped out. Jack grabbed hold of the holy sword and engaged the vengeful foe in a fierce fight, and managed to defeat him in the end. Deeply impressed, the hero invited Jack to join their team to defeat the demon lord together. It was at this moment that Jack suddenly noticed he had grown actual hands. He instantly remembered his core rule, as a wall-mounted torch. Leaving the wall meant instant death. The second this thought crossed his mind, his body began to crumble apart on its own. Another message popped up for Jack soon after. Master Red Salmon was hanging out drinking with Tanaka in the world he just reincarnated in, and the first drink was free for anyone who stopped by before 5 in the afternoon. Jack never saw it coming. He only wanted to share his smile with the goddess, yet he got zapped by her until he was reduced to ashes. This time, Jack had reincarnated into a pillowcase, in the room where the female hero stayed for the night. Exhaustion got the better of him, so he snores loudly in his sleep and even drools non-stop. Fed up with this state, Jack couldn't help but complain out loud. The female hero fainted on the spot in shock, upon hearing this sudden voice coming from nowhere. After passing out several times in a row, she finally managed to calm down and listen to what he had to say. If she took special training from Master Red Salmon and Mr. Tanaka, she would be able to unlock her true hidden potential. Right away, the female hero entered a special dream realm to undergo their strict training and awaken her full strength. She cleared dungeons at rapid speed and successfully reached the final floor. In the end, she defeated the final guardian and claimed victory. Unexpectedly, the holy sword in her hand suddenly spoke up, saying it could grant her any wish she desired. The female hero got scared and fainted once again, since her wish to conquer the dungeon had already come true. She gave the remaining wish chance to Jack. She then went off to a victory feast with Master Red Salmon and the others, and came back completely drunk later on. The goddess was about to use electric shocks to sober her up, when she overheard Jack say his greatest wish was to stay by her side forever for all eternity. Meanwhile, all the gods held a meeting to check on the development progress across the multiverse. They were about to introduce newly ascended deities from different worlds. Some gods whispered among themselves, mocking the rabbit pharaoh for being slow and clumsy, saying he was old and out of touch with new ways. Little did they know every word reached his ears. Being quite petty by nature, he immediately decided to get back at them. He ordered 500 doomsday dragons to invade the worlds ruled by these new gods. It turned out that all deities sought to ascend to higher dimensions by nurturing and cultivating countless worlds, which was why they had to keep building better realms non-stop. One male god brought up a question and asked if anyone present knew a certain man. Footage of Jack's countless reincarnations began to play. He could not figure out why Jack messed up every single world, no matter where he was reborn. He thought the goddess in charge of reincarnation should take full responsibility, and questioned why she always turned a blind eye to Jack's troubles. No one knew the goddess had extraordinary identity and unmatched power. Long before she took charge of reincarnation affairs, she was known across all realms as the goddess of annihilation. Any deity that stood in the way of world creation was labeled an evil god, whose existence would hinder the evolution of all all divine beings. Thus the creator assigned her to wipe out all such evil gods. The other gods grew terrified, fearing they might get eliminated too, if their world cultivation projects ended in failure. In truth, ordinary failed world developments would never bring them punishment. She had defeated and sealed away countless powerful gods with her overwhelming strength, which gradually filled all other deities with deep fear and wariness of her power. To ease the widespread panic among the gods, the creator made an official decision to reassign her position, shifting her role from the terrifying goddess of annihilation to the goddess of reincarnation. This new post was nothing more than an idle easy job. Nowadays, the whole reincarnator selection process had long been fully automated. Even so, odd abnormal souls still showed up from time to time. These special souls held immense potential to drive drastic world evolution, and it was her duty to decide whether such souls became blessings or disasters. Following her old principles, she chose to handle Jack, this abnormal existence, all on her own. Jack soon came back grumbling right after another reincarnation. This time he was reborn as a sea god strident in another world, and he ended up sinking 5 entire continents of that world deep into the ocean. Those 5 continents belonged to realms ruled by other new gods. The surrounding gods hurried to calm everyone down, warning that reckless moves against Jack might send the goddess out of control, and no one could predict what terrible consequences that would bring. The new gods could not understand why the creator never stepped in to restrain her reckless actions. After closing the meeting records, the pharaoh finally voiced his real thoughts. None of them could truly fathom the creator's intentions, yet they all knew leaving Jack unchecked would only lead to their own worlds being ruined sooner or later. Elsewhere, the goddess gently tended to the world tree Jack had brought back. Memories of every moment she spent with him kept flooding into her mind, and she tried her hardest to force a soft smile on her face. Just then, Jack returned from his latest rebirth once again. He grew curious why she kept staring at the world tree, wondering if she was starting to act her age too. He apologized and explained he had been reborn as a hero shoelace this time, which got burned to ashes by an ancient 1,000-year-old dragon right after the adventure ended. That was why he had no time to bring her any souvenirs. This time, his sincere smile became the gift he offered her. In return, the goddess rewarded him with her signature electric shock treatment. The man never imagined he shared a special bond with the goddess of reincarnation. Even the goddess herself had no idea why. Every time she laid eyes on Jack, he reminded her of a little dog. The story goes back many years ago. Back then, the goddess of reincarnation was the bane of the evil god. During a fierce battle with the evil god, a tiny dog got caught in the crossfire and was torn out of the cycle of reincarnation. The goddess brought the dog back to the divine realm, hoping to make amends, only to be told the poor creature could never return to the cycle. Its soul would fade away completely before long. The goddess wondered how the dog had wandered onto the battlefield. After learning the whole story, she fell silent. The pup had been a stray, picked on by humans, and it was her sudden appearance that put an end to the bullying. When she revealed her true form to fight the evil god, the dog chased after her without hesitation. Moved by the little creature, the goddess decided to send its soul to a harsh planet that forged in tempered souls. She never expected the dog to be reborn as Jack. That day happened to be his birthday on Earth. The goddess blew out the candles for him, telling him not to throw parties in her divine realm. Jack invited her to celebrate together. Since she was the one who put out the candles, he joked they could treat the day as her birthday instead, assuming she rarely got to celebrate her own. The goddess was stunned to hear Jack had partied with friends the year before his past human life ended. She couldn't believe she might have it worse than him. Yet when she learned Jack mostly spent his birthdays alone even after reincarnating, she felt a little better. After all, no one bothers celebrating the birthday of an inanimate object. He did have companions when he was reborn as a clock hand once, but back then he was too busy casting spells to tease popular folks to enjoy his birthday. Speaking of which, the goddess remembered all the deities whose worlds he'd messed up had come to complain, begging her to make Jack tone down his antics. She then reminded him it was time for his next reincarnation in another world. Jack was disappointed, for he hadn't gotten a chance to give her the gift he'd prepared. When the goddess promised she would take it, he pushed his luck and asked for a present in return. This time, he would get to pick his next form. Jack drew a hero's curry plate. The goddess gave him 2 options. Either every curry plate belonging to the hero would be him, or the hero would only eat curry from this one specific plate. Not wanting to miss the chance, he picked the latter, and added a wish that the hero be a young woman. Since it was his birthday, the goddess granted his request, though she could not see what difference the hero's gender made. Jack's obvious fantasies gave away his true nature. As Jack departed once more, the goddess shook her head in disbelief. She still could not shake the feeling that he looked just like that little dog from long ago. She opened the gift he left behind, a necklace, and thought it suited her well. Moments later, Jack returned returned from his reincarnation. He noticed his gift had been opened, and the goddess playfully claimed she had already sold it off. As usual, she read his memories directly. This time, the hero was a young girl named Lien. She was born frail and sickly. Every time she carried away monsters that raided the village, she would be seized by violent coughing fits. Jack first met her when she was 10 years old. She defeated the evil god's right-hand men with her bare hands. Exhausted after the brutal fight, her mother made curry for her for the very first time, serving the meal on none other than Jack himself. After eating the curry, the girl's lifelong illness vanished as if by miracle. It was a special perk the goddess had given Jack, turning him into a relic capable of curing incurable diseases. In time, Lien defeated the evil god and saved the world. Having accomplished her lifelong goal at such a young age, she was left with an empty heart. With no evil god left to fight, she lost her sense of purpose as a hero. But a true hero is someone who chooses to act with courage. She made up her mind to open a curry shop, just as the curry had changed her life. She wanted to give other people a chance to turn their lives around too, and so the hero's curry shop was born. At first, crowds flocked in out of curiosity. Business soon took a sharp turn for the worse though. It was not that the food tasted bad. The old evil god had set up a beef stew restaurant right across the street. The goddess was confused to see this new side of the evil god. It turned out the foe Lien had defeated was merely a puppet. The evil god realized brute force would never win in a world where the hero had such unfair advantages, so he decided to conquer everyone with delicious beef stew instead. Listening to the story made the goddess's stomach growl. Luckily, Jack had brought back a copy of Lien's secret curry recipe as a souvenir. The evil god's beef stew was incredibly addictive, to the point where regular customers suffered withdrawal symptoms when they could not have it. The goddess suspected suspicious ingredients had been added to the dish. Watching her business decline, Lien fell back on her old habits. She wanted to fight the evil god and defeat him once again. Jack spoke up and stopped her. He told her to compete fairly with their restaurants instead of resorting to violence. Lien was caught off guard at first, but she took his advice. The two began brainstorming ways to win back customers. The goddess caught the rich aroma of curry in the air and felt confident about its flavor. They soon figured out the real problem behind the slumping business, the shop's decor. Lien had displayed all the monsters she had defeated as trophies for guests to see. After they redecorated the place warmly and nicely, customers slowly started coming back. Still, the evil god's restaurant remained extremely popular. Desperate to win, Lien racked her brain for ideas. She even thought about capturing the evil god and turning him into another decoration, but Jack stopped her right away. He told her that would only prove everyone thought curry was inferior to beef stew. Lien finally agreed to compete against the evil god fair and square. The evil god, who had been sneaking food in the kitchen, stepped out, deeply moved. He had been waiting to hear those words. The two quickly became friends. That night marked the end of Jack's time in this world. After finishing her meal, Lien went to wash the plate. She sneezed suddenly and tightened her grip by accident. Before she knew it, Jack was split clean in two. To make matters worse, Jack realized he had forgotten to start the rice cooker while the curry was cooking. Furious, the goddess turned him into fuel on the spot. After Jack's departure, Lien never smiled again. Her childhood had never been easy. The divine power bestowed upon her as a hero was far too strong, and it filled the people around her with fear. Great power came with the price of her poor health. She had collected every monster she defeated as trophies, to remind herself that she was still alive and give her life meaning. She never expected her greatest mentor would be an ordinary plate. The curry that once tasted wonderful now felt bland and tasteless without Jack around. Lien could not accept their sudden separation. Jack comforted her and told her not to cry. He loved seeing the happy look on her face whenever she ate his curry. Heavy rain poured outside that night when the evil god paid Lien another visit. He saw she was still using the broken plate and knew she could not let go. He had known about Jack all along. Lien had even served him curry on the plate before, and Jack had struck up a conversation with him, which Lien was used to seeing. Everyone knew Jack was fond of girls. He often teased Lien about his impulses, and said similar things to other customers as well. Whenever that happened, Lien would leave him unwashed on purpose to get back at him. Jack had once invited the evil god to stay for dinner, but the evil god politely turned him down, for Jack was not his type. Before the evil god left, Jack had warned him he might disappear one day, and asked him to look after Lien in his place. Jack proudly asked the goddess if his cooking skills were impressive. The goddess acted aloof and said it had nothing to do with him, claiming the credit belonged entirely to Lien's recipe.